Hey folks, this is Ben Yessel. How's it going? Had a pretty good day today. Um, some ups and downs. It wasn't too bad. How was your day? Um, I might make. I'm not sure yet. I might make quite a few videos tonight. When I say quite a few, I mean at least one. Um, it was mentioned recently in I don't know. I do watch a fair number of nutrition related videos. It's true, a fair number. It's something that is at least a fairly regular occurrence to me that I'm watching some kind of video. It's nutrition related, as you guys know. It's amazing that I can get to all of the subjects I can get to. I mean, literally, YouTube is my school, more or less, right now. I mean, there's a lot of educational content on YouTube. Period. So, anyway, it was mentioned that in Europe, the vegetables taste like fruit. And the fruit tastes, I don't know, more or less like whoa, candy or something. Right? Maybe not quite along those same lines, but the but everything has so much flavor with uh, produce in Europe. And of course, I don't know if you guys have got heard of this stuff, but apparently in uh, yeah, Ukraine and the river valleys of Eastern Europe, Europe in general. This is Europe in general, I'd say. I've gotten this vibe quite a bit from Italians. By the way, I'm going to single out certain nationalities here in regards to these sorts of videos having to do with the excellence of European food and produce, that sort of thing. I've heard a lot of crap from Italians, unfortunately. I've heard some stuff Germans and Danes. I've heard some stuff from Russians. Mainly, yeah, Italy. Yeah, Italy, Germany, and Denmark, and more Germany and Russia. Italy, Germany, Russia, and probably some others as well. Uh, Britain and France, sure. Imagine if probably forgetting some. It's the kind of videos. I mean, one video, for instance, I'm referring to is where you see Putin. Ah, what an unfortunate last name Vladimir has. Sorry, it is Slavic after all. So you have Putin. It's just, he's just meeting with some farmers somewhere in, I guess, Ukraine or Russia. I'm guessing Russia. Probably Russia. You see agricultural vehicles off in the distance, or, you see farm work being done, harvesting being done, or something like that. And they're having their bread, their traditional homemade, healthier bread, and their yogurt, their fruit yogurt, and their little fruit juices, and their apples, and everyone's saying, "Oh my gosh, look at the president of Russia just having lunch with the common people. This is what a real president. This is how a real president acts like, or you know, right? Yeah, that whole thing. Go Russia, right? And then they get into see our food is amazing. It's right from the earth. It's just not all processed and doesn't have all those pesticides and you know for shame Americans. This is the way to have this is real food. If it's something to be proud of. As if it's something to be proud of. Your nation's food. When they had nothing whatsoever to do with that in the first place. and that wasn't what I was talking about. I'll get to everything else I'm going to talk about bit by bit. I will. It was a while back. I still remember just how jacked up this whole situation was. No, when I say jacked up, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not mincing words here at all. It was really, 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 truly, honestly messed up. Messed up. No one can do jack crap about the way farming is done in their country unless they themselves are a farmer. And it's like you're just you're a consumer. You have some control regarding, I guess, you can choose what you want to eat. Hopefully you have some choices. Maybe not. Maybe not in some cases, but depending on how you spend your money that way, you can kind of have your own little influence, and you can certainly influence other people. You can talk to other people. You can make videos about grocery stores like I've done on YouTube. It's all kinds of stuff like that, but it's not like you're the one who's responsible for your nation being somehow healthier than someone else. It's just so retarded. It's just so ridiculous. But this is the thinking. This is the way that sometimes people think. In Europe, anything that they can think of, anything to say that they're superior to America in some respects. It's infantile. It's mind-bogglingly, it's excruciatingly stupid to have anyone take responsibility like that for something that they have, again, no control over. In the United States, we have no control over this. We only try to vote, do things with our dollars. In vain, we try to talk to people in government. And so anyway, that wasn't what I was only wanting to talk about, but I think it was. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Um. Okay. So basically, at least for my fellow Americans watching this, and probably for many other people in Latin America and many other places in the world as well. Not saying that Eurasia is left out of this equation, or Africa, or whatever. I'm just saying that at least those places where we have a lot of crap, just there's no other way of putting it. No other word to really, use to describe this. I hate to put it this way. I mean, like, look, the Cheerios that I ate when I was younger, growing up in my family, it wasn't crap. I want to say the foods that my mom chose. I'm not trying to insult my mom. Isn't it funny how that works, I mean, when people start, talking about bad stuff about food that you grew up with, that your mom, made for you. If someone insults that food, then it's like an insult to your mom. And isn't that funny how it works? And then you no, rah, 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 rah. And it's what are you doing? Well, in essence, we're often defending who are we're defending our moms, right? We are not having that. Nobody's messing with mom, right? Only we can mess with mom. We don't want to mess with mom because she's the mom. Unless, that's a different subject. Okay, all right. So, but that's really what's happening. There's an emotional connection there. It's you know we have memories of when we were younger, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into um, there's a lot more that goes into how we hear things, and um, regarding even nutrition and many other things too. But if we're just talking about this one subject, there's a lot of things that go into what how seriously we'll take how much to heart we'll take things that we hear. And not just the emotional things, not just the memories, not just thoughts about our moms or even dads on occasion sometimes, but more moms. Not just that stuff, but there's the intellectual stuff. It's got to jive with what we know about nutrition and all that stuff. And also, what's practical and what's available and all that stuff. There's all kinds of things that we are thinking about when we're not even aware that we're thinking of, a lot of times with the subject. So, yeah, when I hear about the glorious European foods and how everything tastes better, I do mean everything. Everything in terms of whole real foods. I want to slap them all collectively. Take all 700 or 800 million of them and just slap them collectively across the face and say, I don't want to hear that crap anymore. In the United States, this is how things were. Well before I was born. They were doing this farm subsidy thing back in Nixon's time. I had no control over that because I wasn't even a chromosome yet. I was like far from being born. This is the 60s for crying out loud. I'm not that old. Holy crap, man. And that's fine if people are that old. I'm not saying it. Just saying I had no control over it, okay? I have no control of that stuff. The refined wheat and all the other stuff that you've been hearing about. These are all things that I have had no control over in terms of what's actually available. So my intent in saying all this stuff, where I'm going with all this again, for all those of you who hate it when I beat around the bush, I don't ever beat around the bush. Everything I say has some value. Every minute, there's something that you can take in. I don't just talk about nothing, right? What I'm trying to say is there are a heck of a lot of reasons. A heck of a lot of reasons. More than I have ever mentioned in any of my videos or many of these other videos that you see online. There's so many reasons why so many of us that are watching this or will watch this in the future or whatever, so many reasons why we are not going to change our diets for the better or our exercise regimen or, well, you can get into all the other stuff in life. But the thing is, there's so many reasons why we keep coming back to something very much the same that we've done before. And I'm going to talk about those things. Let's just call them out for what they are. All right, let's be real. And then some possible things that we can do to make things a little better for our own unique situations, shall we? Again, this is the sort of thing that we'll need multiple videos to cover. I'll try my best, right? Well, why are we in the situation that we are in? As Americans, and even to a large extent, some of you other guys that are watching this right now. I mean, if I'm just going to try to go across worldwide here for a bit here. If you're watching this video and you live in Africa, and it's a huge continent, so I have to be more specific. If you live in East Africa or Eastern Africa, bordering on the Red Sea, or the Arabian Sea or the Indian Ocean, the whole eastern coast and inward little ways. East Africa and Southeast Africa. I think it's a miracle that you're getting enough to eat, period. So I think whatever you guys are probably doing is all you can do. And that's the end of the story there. I mean, if anything, you could probably use more food. We're going to try to keep sending you guys more food, but again, this is out of my hands. I just know I've donated to humanitarian aid before, Red Cross, all that good stuff, and let's try not to get into the wrong hands. Try to keep the warlords away from that stuff. Try to keep growing whenever we can. There's a lot of deserts in certain places. It is what it is. Yes, I understand. West Africa, you guys get a lot of mosquitoes in Congo, but maybe the rainforest, that's been more the Congo mainly. But we're talking about savanna in a lot of places, or I realize that it's a kind of a similar deal with East Africa, although East Africans probably having more dairy. I've mentioned more of that stuff before in the past. I only awareness of this stuff. Rice and dairy and spices in the East. In the West, it's like, there's probably things I'm not mentioning here, but there's things like, yams and cassava and eggs and chicken, of course, and but probably more the plant foods. Millet and all kinds of grains I'm not thinking of right now, plus all the tropical fruits. And then situation, that's Africa. The situation in Polynesia is better. You still have that clash of the old way things used to be versus all the new American stuff, or the newer things like spam. And then anyway, I'm getting off tangent here too much. I understand. I understand what a lot of you guys are dealing with. Not crystal clear a lot of times, but I realize that a lot of times, in a lot of places in the world, if you're able to get some food, you're doing okay, and you're not gonna have a problem with overeating. And in the United States, we have, and this is again, I have to bring this back to America, but this is also the case in countries bordering America, not just Canada anymore. Apparently, this is also somewhat a Mexico thing too, and others as well. So we have oodles of food here. And we have a lot of food that is very appetizing. That is also rather fattening, especially after you get past your prime. Well, let me rephrase that. Once you get past the years where it didn't matter what you ate so much. Yeah, yeah. Um, and everybody's a little different. So it's like we have a lot of really tasty food. Why is it that so many of us keep buying this food that we know or we don't know is not all that great for us? Why is that? Is it because we grew up on that stuff and it was good enough for our parents, so it's good enough for us? Is it because it's cheap? Is it because it can feed a family? And the healthier food is more expensive, so that won't work? Okay, all right. I've mentioned a lot of this stuff in other videos, but I'm gonna try to. I'm probably being a bit more direct in this video, and I'm usually not quite this direct. On some level, I apologize for my directness, but on some level, I'm trying to just say this so that there's no mistaking what's really going on here. And it all comes back to how things are in my life. So it's like, um, on some level, I could never really take much credit for how I ate before my adult years because I wasn't the one buying the groceries. That was my mom. And so my mom takes responsibility for how things were that way. And I keep telling my Mom, you did just fine. We did just fine. Don't worry about all the little things that we didn't know about in the 80s and 90s. Don't worry about that. We had really nutritious food. It was fine. We got plenty of nutrition. Things would be different if you knew that if that was not the case. Yeah, we probably had a little too much fruit juice. You know, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the mercury in the tuna. Don't worry about the white bread. Don't worry about that stuff. You know, we had sandwiches. The sandwiches involved the bread with the tuna. The tuna, being a protein, kind of helped keep the blood sugar down when we were having that white bread, etc. So, and we've had a lot of progress in nutrition the last 10, 20 years, quite a bit. And literally, I am no joke eating healthier. I'm eating healthier probably now than I imagine I've ever done before. And it's just going to keep going that way. Even though, I was in really good shape in high school, and I was in, It's that whole exercise regimen, but it's just no. I mean, my diet is extremely healthy. It's extremely healthy, and it is a little pricey. Oh, but that's mainly because of the meat and the seafood, right? But it's just in stuff like that. But it's just this. I mean, it's like, it's so hard to be succinct here. So hard, but it needs to be said. I want, first off, I want all the farms in the USA to just be organic. Period. I want the GMO crap to just go. Be done. Done. No more crap. No more crap of any sort. That's supposed to be real food in grocery stores. Everything is organic. Everything it's not expensive. And that's just do away with the farm subsidy thing. That was a really bad idea. Really, really bad idea. The way it's all organized right now. It's true. This is why there's so many obese Americans. Is this. And we took a lot of the traditions of the Europeans, and we just made everything bigger and fattier and in more carbs. So more carbs and more meat, but especially more carbs. Conventional dairy rather than grass-fed dairy. And it's just been getting worse and worse. And everybody's health has been getting worse and worse in the United States. Fast food, everything. It's just it's messed up, folks. This is not how we were meant to live. This is not how we were. This is not at all how things are supposed to be. Not at all. We are not supposed to be huge and overweight. Not at all. But it's great to have some muscle, and I think some people misunderstand the weight of muscle and how that plays in to being supposedly overweight. But it's just that, yeah. I mean, okay. So there's the question of how do I know if the way I'm doing things is the best way, or is a better way? That's probably a better question. Is a better way than how I grew up. And my mom was so thrifty. I kid you not, she was thrifty. And there's always a question of how to be healthier when you're trying to get, trying to be really thrifty. And I've made many videos on this subject, so I refer you guys to those videos. And there's many others like that, same thing on YouTube. And we know what the cheap plant foods are. We know what the cheaper animal foods are. We know that we're going to spend a little extra if we want to. Unfortunately, if you're going to get some higher quality, fish and meat and stuff, but and berries and things, But there are a lot of our staples that are really cheap still, that are very important to eat. So, but the thing is that it has everything to do with, and this is what I had to do when I reduced blood sugar and greatly reduced my sugar intake. What it has everything to do with getting used to, on a daily basis, um, getting used to more bitter foods. That's no way of putting it. Like, just, if you're going to be eating not necessarily more vegetables, but you're going to be eating vegetables more often, and you're getting a wider variety of vegetables. And vegetables are a big deal, and they're like don't have a meal without them kind of thing. And have 2 or 3 different kinds of vegetables at a meal. Keep that going. And fruit is probably a little bit overdone still, but so, the more that the more that my taste buds get away from the sugar thing, or this grease thing, right? What are the things that are often okay, I'll move back up. The things that are often presented to us in grocery stores as being the most appetizing, right? The bright colors, the soda, the juice, right? And then the really super sweet fruits, somewhat, but especially the juices and sodas and candies and the snack foods. Yeah, all that's the chocolate, right? And the ice cream. And ice cream isn't so bad. But then, definitely get your red meat. But there's always those convenient microwavable meals, right? It's just the advertising, it takes over at some point for so many people. And so it's like there's a vigilance required to just stay away from that stuff and just stay at the perimeter of the store, and then even to go off more often to stores that have stuff that's going to be more nutritious for us. The organic produce at Safeway does not last very long at all before it goes bad, and so you don't get your dark greens there. In fact, you don't get a lot of things at Safeway anymore. Period. Um, you know, you have to look at every single thing that you're buying, and you have to say, is this healthy? Is this good for my body, or is this not? And if it is not, then don't buy it. Now, you have to say, if you know something has some things that are okay about it, you have to say, well, how much of this am I going to have? And what effect is this having on me? And is this what I look forward to eating the most? Do I crave it? So on a typical day, now, this is how things are. This is how things maybe should have been in the past, but at least definitely how things are now. On a typical day, I will have, at least for 1 or 2 meals of the day, 2 or 3 different cooked greens. Like, often things frozen, but it could be onions, could be a lot of stuff, mushrooms, whatever. And then I'll have a salad, some kind of salad, or some kind of fresh vegetable like carrots or celery for another meal. Every single day, with a few exceptions, sure. And I'll have berries, and sometimes other fruits, but especially berries, blueberries and raspberries. They're almost as important as vegetables. But the other fruits, you don't really need them all that often. But if you don't live in a place with a lot of berries, then and you don't live in a place with a lot of vegetables, there's always those root crops, those root foods, those cheaper plant foods that, those are the things to buy. I'm trying to make this more applicable worldwide. I do apologize if what I'm saying is very US centered, but there's only so much time in this video before I have to wrap it up, and as it is, I'll have to make another video soon. So, so the solution, first off with produce, for Americans, even as, oh man, food deserts are another issue, but the solution is slowly over time, getting more habitually used to eating more produce. But it takes time. And you need to pay attention to your favorites. And you need to actually eat the produce. So make sure you don't buy too much at once. And, yeah. You get your produce, maybe try a few new things. Slowly over time, start including a greater variety. Your body will get used to it. I'll have to make a part 2 here in a bit, folks. Sorry. Let me just mention a few other things here. Then, so that has to happen. That has to happen, especially in the vegetable end. And you have to keep the sugars down somewhat. When it comes to things like beans and seeds and nuts, those are also good things to buy. Just, keep in mind what's available for your, grains, I just don't think you need them. Unless you live in Asia and you're eating rice, everyone eats rice. So, okay, eat rice. But unless grains in so many areas of the world, grains are a big part of their diet. So keep eating those grains. There's nothing wrong with that. But in the United States, where we're maybe often not as physically active, I don't think we need those grains. No, 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 no. Especially if they're refined, we just don't need them. You don't need the pie. You don't need the cake. Having a little cake once in a while is not going to kill you. But small slices and like for special occasions. Don't go out of your way to buy that crap. Unfortunately, pastries in the United States are often just that crap. You can call French pastries something a little better, but anyway, part 2 here in a sec. Catch you guys later. Take care. Bye.